Welcome to another episode of Dating Intentionally. I'm Talia, your host, and if you're new to the show, I created this podcast to help you date with confidence while staying true to your values so you can find an amazing match and get into a secure long-term relationship. This episode is a little bonus for you. It's the season of gift giving and holiday shopping deals, and I know how stressful this time can be for folks who are newly dating or have been in a relationship for years, or even if you're not dating and you're just giving gifts. This is my second holiday season in a relationship, and I'm the kind of person who starts gift shopping immediately after Halloween. I like to start with gift guides online for inspiration. And while scrolling through these guides, I thought, do guys actually like these gifts? I got to ask this exact question to my brother, Alex, who's a 29-year-old straight dude who's been in a few relationships, and he can give me some insight into receiving gifts from girlfriends over the years. In our discussion, we got into what makes a good gift versus a bad one, different ways to make even the simplest and smallest gift memorable and thoughtful. And we talked about some of the worst gifts that you've ever received that you guys submitted to me on Instagram at the end. I was honestly blown away by Alex's approach to giving gifts. And I think after listening to his approach, you're going to be able to level up your gift giving game a lot, no matter who's on the receiving end. Let's get into it. Welcome, Alex. I'm so excited to have you on. You're my first family guest, maybe my only family guest on the show. We'll see. We'll see if you pass.
Love that. Happy to be here.
Yay. Okay, so today we're talking about gifting. It is the season of gift giving, and I think this can get really tricky in relationships, especially in early dating. Even like when you've been dating someone for years and years, it can be like a huge pain point. So why don't you tell us a little bit, just really quick overview, how many relationships have you been in?
I've been in 3 or 4 longer term relationships, one that was several years, and obviously also been single in between.
Yes. So you know the drill. You've seen all the sides. You've given gifts, you've received gifts.
Absolutely. I think that, there are different stages of relationships, whether you've just met someone on the holidays coming up or you've been together for a while. I think you have to take a different approach to what a good gift would be, but I've definitely seen it all, and I consider myself to be relatively good during the gift giving season.
Yeah, I would say as your sister, I agree. I love passing back and forth an Amazon gift card. No, I'm kidding. You actually, you do give good gifts. So, okay. Well, I wanted to bring you on because whenever I'm shopping for like a man in my life, I look online, like gift guides for my dad or my boyfriend or like my grandpa or whatever. You know what I mean? And I'm always like, do guys actually want this? And why is every gift guide the same? So I kind of wanted to go through one of these guides with you and just pitch you ideas. And I want you to let me know, like, honestly, if you receive this gift from a girlfriend, what would you think? Okay.
Totally. And that sounds really fun. I also just want to say, I think that a lot of gift receiving also depends on context, right? Every guy has different interests. Every relationship has different inside jokes, et cetera. So I do believe a lot of this is going to be through the lens of, putting myself in the shoes of someone receiving this and why it might be a useful gift or why it might not be.
Totally. And I agree. Yeah, it does come down to your interest. But I think a lot of guys are hard to buy for because they don't need stuff or they're just going to buy it for themselves. That's usually what I hear. Or sometimes maybe it's so new that you don't really have anything yet.
Definitely.
Let's get into it. I'm looking at this list of 43 best gifts for boyfriends in 2023 from Self magazine. And I'm just going to shout out some of these things. The second thing on this list is this weird pair of slippers from North Face that are very puffy. Are slippers a good gift for a boyfriend?
I think that if you and the boyfriend have had a kind of cozy part of your relationship where it's about, hanging out, being comfy, you guys like do popcorn nights, etc., giving that gift and putting it in that context of you wanting to be comfy during your movie nights can work. I think just handing a guy some slippers and saying, enjoy, if he's not a slipper person, is just not really going to be something that lands.
That's so true. Like any gift out of context is going to be like, what? I love it. I love the context is very true. Okay, here's one. If someone gave you on this list, this is really on this list, a butane torch, how do you feel about that?
Honestly, me, I'd take it. I would appreciate a butane torch. Now, for all those listening, you have to recognize I have a shed full of tools. I own 2 lawnmowers. I don't need 2 lawnmowers. I have 2 lawnmowers. Having tools is like definitely up my alley. But I assume the person giving the gift knew that about me and was like, hey, I saw you don't light enough things on fire. Here's a butane torch.
What would you use that for?
I'm actually not sure, but I imagine that if I got one, I'd think of projects to do with it and then present them back to my girlfriend being like, look what I did with the butane torch that you got me. I feel like it'd be like giving a young kid like finger paints, but instead of paints, it's fire. And again, that's just me. If you live in a city or something, I don't recommend the butane torch. I think if you're living in an urban environment, not a great fit. But if your boyfriend's a DIYer, likes to have projects, etc., sure, not top of my list, but I certainly wouldn't say what the hell.
I love it. You're like considering the safety of this. I don't think Self magazine did that, consider the safety. Also, this is $400. I think like we can talk about budget later, but that is a very pricey gift for 1 year in a relationship or something. Okay, this is coming up on a lot of gift lists this year. And I haven't seen this before. Anybody just haven't noticed it, is a bidet, like a bidet attachment to for your toilet. What is that saying to you? Like you open up the box and out comes a bidet.
I think that if you're deep in a relationship, several years to the point where you guys have very, very regular conversations about bowel movements, then sure. But I think anything before that, not a gift to receive. I think that it's, the equivalent of saying to your boyfriend, hey, I think you're smelly.
Or, hey, I've seen your skid marks.
Yeah. So I'd say stick away from those kinds of products. Really functional ones, I think just in general, if we talk about like, things that are really about achieving kind of daily routine things like cleanliness exactly fall into the camp of things guys would buy for themselves. Unless the guy has stated, oh, I use a beard trimmer, but I really want to get this nice one. It would really mean a lot to me because I care. I want to get into, sculpting my beard is a thing I really care about, then sure. But if it's just like, hey, here's a Q-tip holder, like that's not really a thing that a guy wants for a holiday. It doesn't feel exciting. Right. It doesn't feel good to open. It's like, I can use this, but this isn't I'm not grateful to you on a personal level because of this. This Target can provide this for me too.
Right. So basically, don't shop at Target. You heard it here first. No, I'm kidding.
No, Target's great. I'm just suggesting items that are meant for a daily routine. Guys get for themselves.
It's like, why have a girlfriend when there's Target? I could just go get it myself. I just think it's...
You're right. That's the answer. A little bit of KY jelly and nothing else.
You're right, though. I do think it's like you do have to listen to what your partner is saying and also like what they care about. I mean, I'm looking at you have a beard. If you received any beard grooming, like again, more randomly, like assuming you're not talking about this, but like beard grooming stuff is on all of these lists. So like if you got that, how would you receive it?
Honestly, I'd feel pretty neutral about it. There was a time years ago when I was learning how to take care of my beard, where I was looking at different balms and different, razors, etc. Where if my girlfriend heard me talking about that, I would have been so grateful that she was listening and that I feel heard, right, and thought of. But just out of nowhere, receiving, a beard oil, I'd be like, you've got to know more about me than the fact that I have a beard, because frankly, everyone else in the street knows that about me. It's not personal. Everyone knows I have a beard. So like, you've got to go a little better. Let's do some things that are inside this relationship.
I love what you said. Like, basically, when you're receiving a gift, you want to feel heard and seen, right? That's basically what it is. It's like you've said something or expressed an interest in something, and then your partner has internalized that and like produced a present based on that. Very true. And it could be, it doesn't have to be big. Like, you don't have to have a big gesture to show that you're listening to your partner.
Totally, which is why I think that as I look through this list and I hear the ones that you're calling out, I think that it doesn't make sense to go through this list, find something that just, is in your price range and say that's the one because this website says they'll like it. I think I'd use this list more as inspiration and kind of think to myself, oh, have any of these things been something that my partner or the person I've been seeing has talked about in any shape or form that I can kind of mold into a story of why I think this gift is a good one for them? Because it is really about the context, about the why.
Yes, 100%. I agree that I use these gifts, these lists as inspiration. but I'm always like really, they're always the same. So it's, to me, it's like, why are we still making these? But also
Definitely.
I know why, because they have to sell this stuff. I'm also seeing massage guns on these lists. And when I think about it, giving a massage gun, it's like, I don't want to give you a massage anymore. Here's a massage gun. I don't know. What do you think?
I know there's some people that are really athletic and have a self care routine around stretching, etc., where a Theragun or something similar is part of the routine they want to create. So again, if that's something that your partner is specifically into, then I think it can make sense as a gift. But just saying, hey, the average person likes to be touched. Let me replace myself with a machine. I don't think that makes the best gift possible just because it's if your price range is 100 or $200 or something, if that's what those cost, just saying, it fits in there, let's do that. I don't think that that's
Right.
the right way to approach it.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I mean, it just depends on what their interests are. On this list, there are a lot of like, I'm looking at this list, there are a lot of razors. And I'm just like, can't imagine giving a guy a pack of razors.
I think that I want my partner, my girlfriend, the people I'm seeing to be different than Dollar Shave Club and all the ads that are out there. I think there are things that like the commercial world consumerism can't provide to me, and that's what I have relationships for, right? The things that I can buy are things that I will buy, but relationships are meant to go beyond that. They're meant to evoke emotion, connection, etc. And if you can't connect over razors, and maybe you can because you have an inside joke or something, but for those that don't, you know, why give this gift? You might as well hand them $20 and say, "Nice knowing you."
That could be a better gift. What do you think about subscription boxes as gifts for men?
I think they're great if they fit the person's interest. It really all comes down to that.
I'm always worried about giving a subscription box, especially because there's usually stuff in these boxes that like you can accumulate all this like these little samples and like little chachi things that you don't actually need, and then it's like giving them more clutter to deal with.
I think that's totally right. And now that you say it, I think that I would definitely amend my answer to say I feel like consumables are really good. So foods, drinks, etc. Because then you get to enjoy them together. You can again, I've heard and said, oh, our first date, you talked about how much you're a red wine person or a whiskey person. So I got you 3 months of trying these things. And after those 3 months, it's over. They don't have to think about it. The
Mm.
bottles get, put in recycling, et cetera. Maybe they save one. I think that these boxes can make a lot of sense if we look more at consumables, things like chocolates, wine, whiskey, et cetera, especially if the person has stated they have a specific interest in that thing. Oh, I love red wines. I went to Napa last year, learned so much about them. I've been trying to try more places. You guys have gone to a wine bar for one or two, dates. Great example of a gift where it's I heard you, you're seen, and here's a gift that marks that recognition of your interests and what we've done together. And then if the person drinks the wine, they don't have to sit around with all this stuff around their apartment half finished. They can recycle those bottles, keep one for sentimental reasons, and that's the gift. That feels really good to me, I think. But I think one of these things of like a men's box of a couple of it's a pocket square and a wristwatch strap and cufflinks and maybe like a half a perfume bottle or something. Like it just doesn't really land because like what do I do with these? They're so specific. They're not specific to me. That doesn't feel as good.
Yeah, and almost like it'd be worth it to like for someone to create their own box to give to their boyfriend, like just a one time, like a personalized like box of little things. That would be a fun gift, I think.
I love that. And I've given a version of that gift before where it's like I'm collecting over the months of knowing someone little things about them they enjoy. Maybe it's a bakery they love, and maybe it's a bottle of wine they mentioned, or a type of wine they mentioned, or maybe it's a piece of clothing that they've really appreciated or showed me at one point, and putting all those things into one box and letting it kind of be like a cornucopia of like how I thought of you and that I think of you is, I think, a really fun thing and a great thing to unbox because the unboxing matters too, right? It's not like just throwing, a Nordstrom bag at someone being like, happy fucking Christmas, like that experience of opening it and showing the thought is a big part of it too.
Okay, you've been my brother for like how old are you, 29 years, and I didn't know you were such a thoughtful, like, I didn't like the boxing, the unwrapping. I didn't know you think about that.
Just because I'm bad at wrapping gifts doesn't mean I'm not thoughtful about it.
Yeah.
As an example, I recently got out of a long term relationship, and last year for Christmas, I got her a couple of gifts in this kind of same idea of kind of putting a box together, and she loves escape rooms. It's something we did a ton together. And so when I wrapped this gift, I actually made the entire unboxing experience its own escape room. So there was multiple boxes inside of each other with little locks and notes on it with clues to each thing. And at some point there was like a decoder light that saw like
Oh my God.
invisible ink and things like that. And it took me a couple of hours to build this box, but I'd say that the box was just as appreciated as the gift itself. And frankly, it cost me like $25 to make the whole thing off of a couple little Amazon bits and bobs and things from the house. But it really showed intent. It showed care,
I love
and so I think
that.
that yes, I'm bad at these things.
You're
From like the actual look of it was terrible, but it worked.
You're definitely getting my gears turning about like how I can do this for Johnny. His birthday's coming up in 2 weeks, and then we have all the holidays and stuff. So you got me thinking. I would love to hear your thoughts on like different budgets for different stages of the relationship. Like if you've let's just say
Mm,
someone is just getting into a relationship now. It's almost mid-November. So holidays are coming up. What should they be getting? Like what is an appropriate, by the holidays you've been dating what, 2 months maybe? What's appropriate at
sure.
that point?
For me, early on in a relationship, it's all about the inside jokes. I hope that you've been, laughing together and really kind of getting that humorous side of connectivity with a new partner. And because of that, there must be some things that spark reminders of that humor between the two of you. And I think those things can be really inexpensive. I think back to a friend of mine wears Crocs all the time. She wears Crocs all the time, and her boyfriend went and bought a pinata and got a bunch of Croc charms, like the things that you put in little holes of your Crocs, and put them in
Oh
the
my God.
pinata, this like mini pinata. And then she broke open this pinata to find all these little charms for her Crocs, which she wore some, and some were just ridiculous. But like the laugh out of it, the memory of it was priceless, truly priceless. He
I
probably
love it.
spent
I mean,
sub $30, right? And I think that it's those kinds of things like dollars do not equate to value of a gift. Someone can buy me a standing desk as a gift, which will cost them $1,000 or something. Doesn't mean I want that gift for them. And just because I use my desk every day and will think of them every time I use the desk, I wouldn't consider it a good gift. It's just a
mm,
thing that I now have. I think gifts, are something we kind of bestow upon people. It's a part of ourself and part of the relationship that we give to each other. And so early on, budget wise, I think that really challenge yourself to think about the inside jokes, little moments you want to remember for a while, and make things that represent that, whether it's a card, whether it's a T-shirt, or a mini experience, etc.
you're reminding me like I just had like memory unlocked moment. I think in high school, the guy I was dating, we were obsessed with movies. Like we just really wanted to watch a lot of classics. This was also like 2008. This is when movies were like, it was like The Dark Knight, like, like that whole era of movies that were really good. So I made him a scrapbook of like all the movies we watched and like some quotes and stuff. I don't know. I just thought that was like really fun. We watched so many. It was a thick scrapbook. I guess I kept track of them somehow. I don't know.
As that's amazing. I mean, I think that like again, it's a thought that goes into it. In a similar vein, I had a gift where I was away for 2 weeks, and they took my camper van and my dog, met up with my friends, and did a full day photo shoot in different locations, and made a calendar out of it. So when I got home, I had this calendar, which at Costco cost 20-30 bucks to make, not an expensive gift, but they
Amazing.
spent an afternoon with my friends hanging out with my dog, with our dog sitting, and made this thing that is a calendar from like 2019 that I still have on my desk. The dates don't match up to anything. It's a useless calendar functionally, but this amazing memory of just these special locations, my dog, my van, my friends. It all felt so, so special to me and so important. And that's the thing on my desk still, not the most expensive gift I've ever received.
Right. That's incredible. That's an amazing idea. I love it. I love these like very cheap. You've listed off a couple affordable, like I don't want to say cheap, but you know what I mean? Affordable, low budget, memorable, thoughtful experiences and ideas. That's awesome. And yeah, I think you're right about inside jokes. I also think like if it's someone new you just started to date and you maybe it's like a month in, I think going back to that something edible, consumable is always safe and appreciated.
and something you can do together.
Right.
I think that doing things, if it's a consumable, giving it some added context for how you're going to enjoy it together, or that they can enjoy it with someone else. If you know that, let's just say they and their parent are really into something, you can just state that in the purpose of the gift. Giving the gift purpose, I think, is a big part of this too. So if you're going to go buy them a great set of chocolates, et cetera, from around the world, talk about how you'd like to spend an evening walking to different restaurants, getting one dish and eat the chocolate afterward, one dish and try the food, the chocolate. Like, there's examples of ways you can take these gifts to the next level just by giving them their purpose.
Yes. And yeah, I want to talk about experiences too, because I feel like that is what I hear like on my DMs and in my community is like, people don't want to give material things. And I don't think the ideas that you've mentioned, the creative ones, are that material, but like the stuff on these lists, right? That are very just like, here's a massage gun or here's a razor. So like, what do you think about experience gifts in terms of cooking classes, massages, like couples massage, or, something like in that vein?
I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but I think that it all comes down to having listened to your partner and them having shown interest in things. So I wouldn't just throw a cooking class at a partner and say, hey, here's this thing that costs $150, enjoy, right? Rather, it's, I know that you visited your family overseas in Italy last year and you're missing that food. So I got this, pasta making class for you because I thought it might remind you of home. That's so much more meaningful than just saying like, go learn how to make some pasta. Good luck.
Yeah, right.
Again, giving context and working a gift, just that inch towards your partner really, really matters.
I love it. Okay, I have a question. I'm just curious. My style with a partner is I send them a list of stuff I want.
Oh, I know. I've received that list from you
Yes.
every year. I receive that list from you of things that you want for the holidays.
I'm not that sentimental. I'm like, give me my Lululemon my leggings and this like moisturizer that's a little out of my budget. I don't know. Is that horrible? Like, should I not do that?
No, I think that, gift giving is tough. It can be stressful. You can get stuck in your head and then the holidays are creeping up on you and you've got to rush to get something and, oh, shipping's going to take too long, et cetera. Like, it all happens and it's totally natural. It's not unique to you, listener, who's possibly feeling stressed about the holidays coming up, and lists can help. My approach as a recipient of those lists is I try and choose something off the list that I think they'll really appreciate, and then try and do one creative thing outside that could, again, be zero budget or very low budget, but just showing that I didn't just do. I think the problem for someone receiving a list is if I buy that thing, I'm just doing the bare minimum. Even though you, the list creator, might be feeling like this is what I want, you're doing what I want, it can feel to me as the person giving the gift that all I've done is click two buttons and taken my wallet out, and I haven't really done much. It hasn't actually shown my appreciation for you. I don't appreciate you $80. I appreciate you infinite dollars. Right. And I want to be able to show that. So I tend to, and we didn't talk about this earlier, no matter a list or not, I tend to actually always give two gifts, for any given moment. One is going to be a meaningful one, and one is going to be kind of just that, a thing that I know they'll like, they'll use, they mentioned, etc. And try and balance it. It's not always that way. Sometimes they're the same thing. Sometimes they do more. But I do think there's something to kind of like, oh, if the sentimental thing is small, let's add on something that, is on their list, or a gift that is more practical, but it doesn't remove the idea that I thought about this. I cared. That's what I'm trying to show.
True. Yeah. I mean, I guess like my motivation for giving this list to my partner is I don't want them to stress about it. Like, I don't want them to have to worry about it. I want to make it easy for them. And I think I am pretty easy to shop for because I do like a lot of stuff. Like, I do have a lot of things I like and that I'm into. Like, Johnny continuously surprises me with Taylor Swift stuff, like from her merch store and like different records, because that's a pretty easy one for me that I always like. But I think I just don't want them to stress out. And I know how stressful this time of the year can be for so many people. Like, whether you've been dating for 10 years or 1 month, it can just be really stressful. So there's a lot of different ways to approach it. And I absolutely love all of the things that you've said. Just the sentimental factors, like the connections to inside jokes, how to make the unboxing thoughtful. Like, I feel like if you buy like kind of a generic gift, like let's just say Lululemon leggings, you could still make the unboxing interesting. You could throw on like a ClassPass subscription for a month. Like, you can do so many different things to add on to that middle of the road gift.
Absolutely. I think that, the way that I would succinctly think about gift giving is if the person asks for thing X to anyone, they could just give them thing X. So if they ask for Lululemon shorts, they can just give them that thing. How do you do something that makes it specific to them so it's only uniquely from you and only uniquely to them? And once you've found a way to kind of create that unique connection between the two of you that defines your relationship or represents your relationship, not defines, then you've given a really special gift. So it can be Lululemon shorts, but why is giving Lululemon shorts special between the two of you? That's the question to ask. And that can guide you in your card writing, it can guide you in your packaging, and it can guide you in the sentimental things that you might add onto the gift on the side just to make it really elevated beyond.
Your insight is so valuable. I really appreciate everything you said. This is a lot deeper than I thought it would be, so thank you. Before we wrap up, I do want to run some of these gifts that the community submitted, that these were the worst gifts they've ever received. I just thought you'd get a kick out of this. Okay, so here are some of the worst gifts people have ever received. And I do think, to your point, it does matter who's on the receiving end, because some of these worst gifts could be someone's best gift. My audience is mostly women. So like these are women receiving gifts from their boyfriend. So I think you can also kind of get a clue into how clueless some guys are. This one's bad for two ways. This person wrote, they got me a heater when I always run hot. So this goes against your rule of not being thoughtful of someone who always runs hot. You run hot. Imagine if someone got you a space heater.
Yeah, that's an L in my book. Again, to all the guys out there, just listen to what your girlfriend says, think about who they are, and don't do things that they just fundamentally can't use.
Right. And just because most girlfriends are usually freezing does not mean your girlfriend is freezing. Okay, so how about this one? They got me a set of used golf clubs because he wanted me to take up golf.
Oh, that's rough. If you're giving a gift to try and change your partner, that's going to be a big red flag. I think that we can, even aside from gift giving, recognize that we cannot change our partners. It's not in our power to do so. We have to accept them for who they are. And I think that giving them a gift to try and angle them in a certain direction, nudge them, nudge, is just not that sly and not going to be effective.
Okay, speaking of not that sly, this person said, they gave me poopery in front of my family.
What the hell is poopery?
It's that stuff you put on the toilet, or it's like a spray for after you go to the bathroom. You know what I mean? Like,
I could have assumed it was some product like that, but I've never heard of this before.
It's a bougie Febreze, essentially.
Got it. Listen, I think there's a 3% chance that you've been dating someone for a long time. The family knows you super well, and you have that kind of relationship where you can make that kind of a joke in front of the family alongside a much better gift. Again, little gag gifts can work in the right moments. Do not lean on them too heavily, but generally, no. Stay away from bathroom products entirely, specifically ones, especially ones that have to do with using the bathroom, using the toilet.
Yeah. Also, like just anything that's going to embarrass them in front of their family. Like think about these things, especially like
for sure.
Last year when I had to go to Christmas without Johnny, and when I had to do all that, I was definitely aware of like, okay, I'm going to be giving out these gifts to people I've never met in front of everyone. You got to think ahead.
You can also always give gifts independently and privately. If there's something you want to give them that wouldn't make sense in front of the family, I think that it's not impossible to give, lingerie, etc., but don't have them open that in front of their family. There's a time and place for different types of gifts, and recognizing the audience is an important part of it.
Okay, so this person wrote a $3 thong from ASOS sale selection, not even with a matching bra.
I really love that addition at the end. Not even with a matching bra.
If you're gonna do lingerie or any kind of get a set.
I'm with you. And again, it's the budget that really gets me on that one. There's nothing wrong with budget gifts. There really isn't. But if you're going to go budget, don't try and get something that would normally be high end and try and cheapen it, right? Do something that is budget and thoughtful. Don't take a high end product and try and reduce its value by finding a cheap version of it. Yeah.
Okay. So there are two here that really tie into what we've been talking about. It's all about the receiver. This person wrote, a slow cooker. I knew it was the beginning of the end after that. See, a slow cooker in and of itself isn't a bad gift necessarily to someone who likes to cook a lot and is on their cooking journey. My ex gave me a beautiful Le Creuset, which is like an amazing gift. I love that thing,
Yep.
but I can imagine, yeah, receiving a slow cooker if I don't cook.
I got an ex stainless steel pans, but that's what she specifically wanted. She talked about having an upgrade to her kitchenware, and I think that it was one of, that was the functional gift. It was also a sentimental one added on. I think a slow cooker is not a terrible gift unless it's something that you haven't shown any interest in or any unique, connection to.
It's funny because literally on this list, in this one screen of people's submissions, there are 4 kitchen related things: rice cooker, kitchen appliances, and
Wow.
frying pan are all on here.
To all the guys out there, just because someone that's the classic, male female divide in the kitchen, not in the kitchen, which is so not a thing, especially in today's day and age. Don't get kitchen stuff unless the person specifically shows active interest in higher quality kitchen stuff. It's honestly the equivalent of getting someone a vacuum and basically saying clean more. And that's definitely not what you want to do unless you want to be single for a really long time.
Okay, this one is interesting because it's like maybe someone listened too closely. I once told a guy I miss playing with Barbies, so he got me some.
You know what? I kind of love that, and I'm a little disappointed that she's not into it. I hope it wasn't the only gift and it wasn't like a full smorgasbord of stuff to fill her apartment. But I think that getting someone a Barbie, if they mention, missing that and maybe asking their parents, what kind of Barbie did she like? Did she, what was the look of it, et cetera, try and recreate that thing. It's actually a wonderful gift and a thoughtful one. So maybe just poorly executed in timing wise.
Especially if you got a Barbie that was specific to their job. Like all the Barbies have different jobs and stuff. Like, I don't know. I think you could do that, right?
My job is beach.
Right. Your job's beach. Okay. Here's one that I'm interested to hear your take on. So this person wrote, they got me a candle bought on Black Friday while we were shopping together. So buying a gift when you're with your person, yay or nay?
I would say most of the time, nay, unless it's something you discussed previously. Like, again, in that case of stainless steel pans, as an example, going and picking them out to make sure it's the thing that they want can make sense. But no, I would not be like, we're doing our shopping for Christmas. Oh, I saw a very generic thing over here. I'm just going to grab it because it's convenient. I think if the gift is convenient and that's its value to you as the gift giver, it's probably not the right gift to give.
Yeah. I mean, I love it because I love that we looked at this list after we discussed everything because it really does tie into everything that we were saying. Like everything on this list is just like inconsiderate or, yeah, so it's just inconsiderate. Really, at the end of the day, people not considering the desires.
Think for me, it was probably the one that stood out. It's not about inconsiderate. It's just a bad, stupid thing to get for someone. But I think the other ones, with the right person in the right situation, I think they make a lot of sense. Can make a lot of sense.
Right. I think it's really like on the giving end, you just got to be aware. Like some of these are like bath bombs, but I don't have a bathtub. It's like, maybe if you're going to buy a gift, be aware of what they actually have that's accessible to them and available to them in their home. There are a bunch of ones in here. It's like a charger to something I didn't own or like incompatible something. It's like, look at the model of the thing they have before you buy accessories for it. You can be sneaky about it. You can just ask them, like, what model computer do you have, and look for accessories. I don't know.
Totally. I think that also, as a receiver, to all people who submitted bad gifts, I hope that you can also spend a few moments when receiving a gift asking yourself, well, why do I believe my partner, my date, et cetera, got this for me? Because I imagine that this, maybe not all of these, certainly not all of these, but some percentage of them where maybe the gift giver didn't have the ability to share why it meant something to them. Maybe they didn't feel that openness and willingness to divulge, but it could have meant something and you just maybe didn't read it correctly. Just take a moment as a gift receiver, I know I will, to kind of internalize why they might have gotten what they got, and it might help recognize the meaning was there, the intent was there, maybe the execution was off, but what they wanted to do is much, much more important.
Yeah, 100%. Well, do you have any final thoughts on gift giving for the holidays in relationships you want to share?
I think that if I can just describe my way of thinking about it as someone who will be giving gifts this holiday season, I'm going to first look at the list of people I have to get gifts for. Think about what makes our relationship special. Think about what unique things have happened since the last time we, gave gifts to one another. Maybe it was a year ago or a birthday a few months ago or something. And take those moments, take those events, and try to find something that attaches to them, connects to them, and makes the story of the gift make much more sense. And I think if you do that, find the people, think of the events, and attach a gift to that connection, you kind of can't go wrong. I really don't think you can go wrong. I think you can find things at a reasonable budget. I think you can find really high end things if you want to. But that mode of thinking will lead you to some great gifts that, alongside a card, can be well defined, well described, and can be things people really appreciate.
Yes, I appreciate you for coming on and sharing all this wisdom in this stressful time. So thank you. And I definitely am excited to buy you a blowtorch for Hanukkah. That's coming for you.
This is my gift to you for the holiday season, so don't expect anything from me. This is my thought.
I'm gonna get you a blowtorch and some poopery.
Honestly, as I'm on this podcast, my mind turns and says, okay, what can I do for Talia to help her with her podcast, help her with dating intentionally, etc. Like, that's something that I think about her as unique to her, something that I've been lucky to be involved with. And then I think, okay, this is a moment for a gift that might make a lot of sense, right?
I'll send you the microphone model that I'm looking for. I'm kidding.
Perfect.
All right. Thanks, Alex. Is there anywhere that people, if they want to connect with you or follow up with you, do you want people to come find you or no?
Yeah, actually, you know what? I think it'd be an interesting exercise and maybe a little fulfilling if people wanted to message me on social. I'm sure you can share my Instagram handles, Alex E. Coren. And yeah, I'm curious to see what hits my inbox on gift ideas. I can't promise responses all the way around, but I'll do if there's anything that's really interesting, I certainly will get back.
Thank you so much. All right, we'll see you next time. I want to thank Alex again for coming on. It was so fun to get into this topic. And I know I learned a lot from talking to him about gift giving, and I hope you did too. Thank you for listening. If you have any thoughts on this episode or any episode you listen to, slide into my DMs on Instagram at dating.intentionally. I'd love it if you share this podcast with someone who's navigating dating and might need a little confidence boost or some tough love. If anything I've talked about has helped you, you can help me by leaving a stunning review on Apple or giving Dating Intentionally 5 stars on Spotify. I'd really appreciate it. Your reviews help other daters find this podcast, so thank you for paying it forward. And once again, I'm Talia. This has been Dating Intentionally, and I'll catch you next time.